Another big lightweight matchup this weekend, Gil. Number 5 and former interim champ Tony Ferguson returning to the octagon, facing the surging number 9 ranked Beneil Dariush. Gil, how much on the line is there for the veteran Ferguson, and do you think he's got enough left in the tank to make another run?
Oh man, this is a tough one for Tony Ferguson. You know, he's an amazing fighter, an amazing character, and he's one of those guys. I'm a fighter, so it doesn't surprise me when I see someone like him. You know, it's in another dimension sometimes. You know, but it doesn't surprise me that that's the recipe for a guy that can be a champion. You know, this guy believes in himself so much, and I think that's huge. That's huge. And you know, he's had a rough last 2 fights. So this is a great opportunity for him to rebuild himself. I think Dariush is a great matchup for him because Dariush is a tough fighter who loves to stand and trade and fight you. And that's great for Tony Ferguson. I think where Tony's going to have the advantage is his creativity. He's a creative striker. He comes from all kinds of angles. And yes, he's a brawler and will stay there. But I think that's what's the difference. You got 2 brawlers that'll stay in the center that will fight, except one is a little more creative and very tricky out there. I have a lot of respect for Dariush as well. This guy has had ups and downs, but has been on fire lately. Yeah. And he's a guy that overcomes adversity too. I mean, we saw him in that exchange. I don't remember against the fighter, but you know, the other guy had an advantage, and he just decided to hold his ground and start swinging back and landed the big shot. So I think this fight's a lot for Tony. He needs to win. A loss will set him back. Will definitely take him out of a title run for a long time. But if he does win, he's such a huge character that he's right back in the mix. He's right back in. He's right back in. And I'd really like to see that for him because I just have a lot of respect for him. I think he looks back at his fight with Gaethje, and then he sees what Khabib did to him. And he's probably wondering to himself, why in the hell didn't I just take this guy down right away? Why didn't I bring it to the ground? I'm such a great grappler. I got to use this against the right people. So I think he probably gives himself confidence. If you're a fighter like him, he looks for the holes to not bring himself down, but he looks for the holes to convince himself that he can be the best in the world again. And he's like, man, I could have done what Khabib did to Gaethje, and I can beat Khabib. I'm the grappler. So I like to see him go back to a lot of his grappling. Now, I don't know if that's the right guy to do it against. Dariush is also a grappler. But I think this is going to be a great fight, a fun fight. And the creativity is what's really going to make Tony stand out.
Tony's changed a lot of things up for this camp. He's done a lot of specialized training at Wild Card with guys like Freddie Roach. Do you think that that's cause for concern at all, that he's done so much specialized training as opposed to maybe working on his blend? And like you said, that creativity. Tony was that guy who, you know, he throws a punch that turns into a roll, that turns into an elbow, and whoever knows what else that he gets you from. Do you think that that's maybe a little bit of a cause for concern?
And I see your point there. I think there could be some. You know, you want someone like, we're in MMA, and you know, I think boxing sometimes has rules. Like back in the days, like there's hardly boxers you see like switching stance in the middle of fights, right? It's like a no. But now someone like Terrence Crawford does it, sure. and I believe more fighters in the future will be. And MMA is so free, and we're so young that now when I talk to my young guys about fighting, they're like, "Is this right? Is this wrong? Is it?" I said, be creative as you can. Do it. And you know, we saw Anthony Pettis run off the cage and kick Benson Henderson that day. And at that moment, I said, oh, man, and nothing is impossible. So I could see how there can be some concern there if we try to make Tony this solid boxer. But I think Tony, the type of guy is, he'll pull out the Tiger style, the crane, the drunken master. Yes, and I think yes, exactly. And I think boxing is just one of those dimensions for him. Maybe I will pull out the boxing stance. Maybe I'll pull out the inverted attacks. Maybe I'll pull out the creative striking. So I think being the guy Tony is, he's always going to be himself. But I think there is always a little bit of concern for someone trying to change who they are, you know, a wrestler trying to become a striker when they should be focusing on their takedown. So those things are for concern. Yeah, but again, I have a bunch of respect for Tony, and there's nothing wrong with trying to reinvent yourself and try to evolve when you hit a roadblock, you know. So I think it's great, and a lot of fighters have done that. You know, I was undefeated for my first 13, 14 fights. Then I won, then I lost, then I won, then I lost, then I won like 9 straight again, you know, and then you get to the title shot. So people have these ups and downs and come back, or they do that 12-0, 11-0, and they leave and they never come back, you know.
Great point.
But you see it, you know, and Takanori Gomi did the same thing, you know, Anderson Silva did the same thing. A lot of fighters have done this, and they have like these phases in their careers, and the greats have all come up, gone down, and come back up. Some have had 3 cycles of being on top, come down, redoing it again, and then doing it again. You know, I haven't seen anyone do more than 3 cycles, but most of the greats have done 2. Some just do 1. You see people 11-0, 12-0, they make it to the top, they lose a couple and they disappear, but they make it there. But you'll notice that. See records of people 12-0, 11-0, 13-0. That's when they lose, you know, and that's when you're fighting the best of the best for the rest of your life. You know, there's no really going backwards after that. I know I went off on a tangent there, but you know, but yeah, a little concerned, but I think Tony's a guy that's going to make the best out of it.